Alright, hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Casey, and today's reading I'm really excited to do because I think it's going to be super positive. It's going to be all about what do people find most beautiful about you. And the reason that I feel so inspired to do this one right now is yesterday I was listening to a tarot reading by the Gem Goddess, who's a pretty big tarot reader here on YouTube, and she was doing this reading called like what will you look like in 3 years, and the whole time I was just like kicking my feet because she was just like flattering me, and I was like, why is she trying to seduce me right now? Like, it was just so, it feels so good to hear compliments from other people, and I just want to dish those out, especially things that are really going to resonate and like make you look at yourself in a new light. Because like, okay, for instance, when I was pulling cards, one of these cards is the card of the horse. I'm not going to tell you which one because you're supposed to be drawn to whichever one you're drawn to. But I was looking at the horse and I was thinking, from one perspective, somebody might look at a horse and say, gosh, look at like that's such a disproportionate creature. Its body is so big and its legs are all skinny and long, and why is its neck so wide? But then another person would look at it like running and say, wow, look at the way it gallops so beautifully. Look at its wind in the hair. Or look at its hair in the wind. And so I feel like there are so many different perspectives from which we look at ourselves. And when we look at ourselves, we put such a harsh light on ourselves and we only see the sides that we don't like. But from an outside perspective, you never have any idea like how other people are viewing you, what other people find beautiful about you. And so I want to bring to your attention, what is it about you that people think like, wow, that is beautiful? Not just, physical attraction, but also what comes from within. What's your personality like? The way that you hold yourself, the actions that you take to really make you appreciate yourself more. And like, hopefully while I'm reading these cards, you're kicking your feet and you're like, oh my God, like stop flattering me, because, I want to give you that feeling too. So today I have 3 different readings for you to choose from. We have pile 1 with the malachite, pile 2 with the, I believe this is blue dumortierite, and did I say pile 3? I'm kind of all out of sorts. Pile 1, pile 2, and then pile 3 with the desert jasper. So go ahead and pause, figure out which reading you feel most drawn to. I'll leave timestamps down in the description box below so you can quickly jump to whichever reading that you want to listen to, but without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, pile 1, if you chose the malachite, then this is the reading for you. I want to say it's a very rainy day, so not a lot of natural light. I'm working with artificial light, so it might look a little wonkier than usual on camera. And also, it's quite a windy day, so, hopefully that background noise doesn't bother you. If anything, I think rain is like a nice noise, but it kind of just sounds like constant wind and like battering the side of my house, so keep that in mind. But anyways, the card that you got to symbolize, what do people see when they look at you? Your natural outer beauty. You got the fish card. And I think that this is actually such a nice, sweet card because when I'm looking at it, I can instantly see a lot of different things that I would find beautiful about this animal. But I feel like the fish itself is also, it's just such a skittish little creature and oftentimes is like a prey animal. And so I feel like you're kind of always maybe paying a little bit more attention to your insecurities, or like I feel like if people were to stop you to say something about your looks, you'd instantly stop and say like, oh, where is it on me? Like you're looking for like a stain, or like you're looking for like, oh, is there something like I need to fix? And it's like they actually came up to you and say like, oh no, I wanted to compliment this part of you. But you're constantly always on like your back foot, kind of like looking for what's off about you, kind of like nitpicking your appearance. But I want to say, like, when I'm looking at this fish card and I'm imagining the motion of a fish, I'm imagining like a dancer, somebody that moves so fluidly, like just the way that they move naturally, not trying to actively put on a performance, but just the way that you would move. For some reason, I'm getting imagery of like in a classroom, the way you'd move around a classroom or around desks, the way that you move your body is so fluid in a way that people might think that you used to be a dancer, even if you weren't, or if you were a dancer. I've always noticed that people who did ballet, for a majority of their life, the way that they carry themselves and the way that they walk is very unique and very fluid. And that's what I think about when I look at this card. Like, for instance, there's this show, Hannibal, the TV show. Kind of a gruesome show, but it's like low-key one of my favorite shows of all time. But the guy that plays Hannibal, what's his name? Mads Mikkelsen. He was actually a professional dancer, and if you ever watch him, he always has like this perfect posture. He's got this like fluidity with how he moves, and it's very apparent in like like in the show when he'd be fighting or when he'd be cooking, like you could just tell in the way that he carried himself. And so if you don't understand the way that I'm describing you, I encourage you, go look at like dancers, people that have done ballet for years and years, and see how they move, and you'll understand the way that I'm describing how people see you when you move. Another thing that I think about when I see the fish is like how they have shimmering scales that look beautiful in all these different lights. I feel like you shine in so many different ways, and also in so many different what's the word I'm going for? Like environments. Like I feel like you have a lot of different interests, and when you're really in flow with those interests, like for instance, if you were really into like rock climbing, or if you were into cooking, or if you were into like going to like heavy metal shows, like I don't know, just you have a lot of different interests, and in each one you kind of shine in a different way. Like everybody shines when they have their interests, but for you it's like this constant shimmering like kaleidoscope that I'm imagining. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. I think that when you're at your happiest, when you're enjoying yourself and enjoying your interests, you just have this beautiful kind of glow about you. And because you have so many different interests and so many different things to glow about, it's like you glow like a disco ball in so many different ways. You're a reflection of what you love. That was a great way to phrase that. And then finally, what I noticed about, the fish's fins, when I was looking at them, I was actually thinking about hair for some reason. Like, I feel like you have a great head of hair. Whether you think it's great or not, like, I feel like it just flows with you. Like, it's really a great part of you. And if it doesn't feel that way, I don't know, I encourage you to try out different hairstyles. Try to find what works best for you. But I think you naturally have this kind of like, it goes in flow with you. Like if you ever look at like a betta fish, oh, they have such beautiful fins. And the way that when they swim, it just flows behind them, almost like a gown. Like I feel like that's you. I think also, now that I brought up gowns, I think flowy outfits would look great on you. Whether you're more into masculine clothing or feminine clothing, I think things that can like trail behind you or flow behind you, or I don't know, I feel like that would suit you very well. So keep in mind, I don't know how you would do that in a more masculine sense. I also tend to dress more masculinely, so I don't really know how I would wear something flowy, but I don't know, keep that in mind. Like flannels, things that you can open and like let the breeze go through. Like I feel like that is what would look the most beautiful on you. So getting into the cards on the sides here, these are like point blank, what is the most beautiful thing about them? What do people think is most beautiful about them? And I feel like, since I said like you're kind of someone who's always on their back foot, maybe a little bit insecure, not always so ready to accept the most beautiful parts of you, but you are always readily trying to make other people feel beautiful, make them feel loved, make them shine, trying to show them a reflection of how you see the beauty in them. You're always trying to show people the best sides of themselves, and people really see that. People see how much you care about others, because you have the love card clarified by the Hermit reversed. I feel like one thing that you will not shy away from is complimenting another person. One thing that you will not shy away from is showing another person that you love. Showing them like when you look at this love card, how it's this heart in the middle and it's bursting out in every direction, and the Hermit reversed is like, you will not stray away from letting that love burst out of you, letting this just positive energy. I feel like you bring such a positive light to any room that you walk in, any group that you're hanging out with, whether you're an introvert or an extrovert. People can just kind of sense, like when you open up to them, they see this beautiful shining side of you that's like, oh, like thank you. Like you just bring out a lovely side of everybody, because not only are you drawn to the lovely sides of people, but I think you have a really good eye for it. That, most people will kind of like subconsciously pick up a vibe of like, oh yeah, I guess that looks beautiful. I can't tell why. But for you, it's like you can pin down the exact reason, whether it's a physical reason or, oh, I noticed you do this thing. Like, that's so cool. And people are like, oh, you noticed that about me? And I just really get the sense that you don't shy away from those kinds of compliments or showing people what you love about them. And that's just something that they wish that you would do for yourself, because it's like, oh, you make everybody around you feel so loved, so cared for, so beautiful. Like I said, you're like a mirror ball. Like, what did I call it? What are those called? Are they called mirror balls? Disco ball. You know how it kind of shines and it reflects back all this beauty. It lights up a room. But then people are like, you should light yourself up too. You should recognize your beauty. You should see how all this light shines on you as well. Because the mirror ball is constantly reflecting everything outwards, constantly making every room beautiful. But you don't realize when you're reflecting that beauty, it also makes the mirror ball beautiful as well. It also shows these glimmering lights and these different colors on the mirror ball itself. But everybody's so focused on like how it shines, how it lights up the room. I hope you're understanding what I'm trying to say. Like, you don't realize just how much, not only that you light up a room, but how the act of you lighting up a room lights up yourself as well and makes you the center of this emanating love and glow and happiness. And then finally, you have the reflection card clarified by death. And I think it's really interesting how there's this reflection card, and I've been talking about like mirrors and like disco balls and stuff like that. I feel like you're somebody that can very easily connect to others, can understand their emotions, and not mirror them in a way that you're like mimicking them or trying to act like them, but mirroring them in like you understand their emotions. I feel like you're definitely a very empathetic person. And with the death card, I think you're constantly focused on like shifting and changing and growing and always evolving into like the next best version of yourself, not because you are running away from the past version of yourself, but because you're constantly focused on like how can I improve? Just not because I feel a need to improve, but because I want to improve, because I just want to be better. I want to be happier. And to other people, oh, here's what I'm getting. When they see you doing that, it's almost like you're a role model and they want to be a reflection of you. Not like you reflecting them. It's like when you're growing and changing and bettering yourself, people see that and they're like, I want to be like them. I want to be able to do what they do. And so whether people have told you or not, I think there's a lot of people that really look up to you, that really admire everything that you do, the way that you carry yourself, and you deserve to pat yourself on the back and really recognize it. I hope that rain's not too loud, but it really is like picking up when I said that. So I think pile 1, man, I've been all over this morning, but I think pile 1, that is everything that I have. I think I've gone over all the cards that we have here today. And so I don't know, I want you to really look at, I don't know why I feel drawn to tell you this, but look at a fish. Go to like a PetSmart or if there's a pond nearby and just watch the way that they move. Really fall in love with their beauty. And then learn to recognize your own beauty. Even if it's difficult, I think you deserve to look at yourself. And I don't know if you listened to the intro, but in the intro I was talking about how I saw the horse card, and it made me think like, from one perspective, somebody might look at a horse and think like, oh, look at its body is all disproportionate, and like, why is its body so big and its neck so thick, but then its legs are all like long and lanky. But then another person would look at that same horse, running around free and say, oh gosh, look at how beautiful it is. Look at the way that it strides. Look at the way that its hair flows in the wind. And I feel like it's just a very interesting way of looking at things of, you may nitpick certain things about yourself. You may find certain things about yourself ugly. But when it's seen from a third perspective, people notice how all put together, those features were all meant for this one being. And when it's in this fluid motion and doing the things that it loves, that's when you see this glow and true beauty from it. And I feel like there is so much true beauty that shines from you. And it's just waiting to be noticed by you. Everybody else notices, but it's like, it's waiting to be loved by you so you can love yourself. So pile 1, that is everything that I have for you. I really hope you enjoyed this reading, but that is everything that I have. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye. All right, pile 2. If you chose the blue Dumortierite, then this is the reading for you. I have a very interesting description here of you that's kind of like hard to put down because I think it's very, very unique. I don't think that there's going to be too many people that feel drawn to this pile, and if you do, like, really make sure that you resonate with it because it seems like a very unique kind of person. But I want to start off with, your outer physical beauty, the way that you shine, and the part of you that is most beautiful from the outside, like when people are viewing you. And the card that you got is the starfish, and I immediately got a lot of different descriptions coming to mind when I thought of a starfish, because the starfish are constantly clinging to walls, clinging to surfaces, and hiding their true self. The underside, which is, where their mouth or like face is, even though they don't have a face, constantly hiding their face. And people only really see one side of them. Like, you're almost always running away from the spotlight. Or I imagine a starfish kind of person at a party would definitely be a wallflower, like quite literally stuck to the wall. Or like wearing a hoodie, always having like your hood over your head so like people don't really see you. But what they do see, the side of the starfish that they do see is these beautiful patterns. And to me, that kind of symbolized in my mind, for one thing, I think your skin could be very beautiful. You might have a very unique skin pattern or skin tone. You could have like lots of freckles or maybe tattoos. Vitiligo. I know vitiligo is a pretty rare thing, but that was really coming to mind looking at this card. It could also be like your specific style and like the things that you wear or the way that you dress yourself is very intriguing to people, and people honestly think is like super cool. Like, I get a really cool vibe from you, but I feel like there's a deep, I don't know if it's like introvertedness or like insecurity that makes you think like you're like some outcast or some weirdo or like you're different from everybody. And yes, you're different, but everybody's different. And I think you're just like less comfortable around others because you think that they wouldn't understand you. But I think you'd be surprised to know just how many people would love to get to know you, like would love to be around you, to learn more about you. I think there's a lot of people that have like crushes on you because like whether you admit it or whether you realize it or not, you're like, what are you even talking about like right now? But I'm being so real. Why am I talking like a teenager right now? I really get the vibe that there are so many people around you that are super interested to like get to know more about you. Like, you're this kind of enigma that doesn't open up to a lot of people, but they just see this really cool, like mysterious person. Like mystery, that's the word I'm looking for. Because you see this starfish is always clinging to a wall, hiding its face, hiding this like underside of them. But from the outside, what they can see are these like cool, amazing patterns, and it's like they just want to get to know more. They want to face you face to face and like just be around you. I think that there's a lot of people that are very interested in you, but are also very intimidated, and that's maybe why you're like, what are you even talking about? Like, nobody ever comes up to me or like wants to know more about me. But I think it's because you give off that really intimidating vibe. And in my mind, I've also been envisioning somebody who like dresses in all black. Like, maybe that's what you're most comfortable in, but it also just gives off this really intimidating like Doberman kind of vibe, which I think is interesting that I say that because my Doberman is right outside my door right now, like trying to get in, and she's not intimidating at all. Actually, she looks intimidating to strangers. Like, they're terrified of her, and she's got this like scary look in her eyes, but she's actually such a doofus. Like, I don't know why I felt the need to bring that up, but maybe that's you, where you're looking at yourself and you're like, why would anybody be scared of me? Like, I'm not a scary person. But from the outside, it's like they just see this scary Doberman who's like staring them down, or like constantly like no smile on the face, or wearing all black. And it's like, I feel like that's you. And that's why so many people are intrigued to get to know you. I think you also are like just very physically attractive, and people are very attracted to you. But you're also so closed off and mysterious that it's like, it adds on this extra level of like, oh my gosh, I wonder like if they're dating anybody. Like, maybe you're younger, maybe you're in school, and that's why I'm like kind of drawing on that energy, but you don't need to be. And then the cards on the outside here, we have like, what is truly beautiful about you? And you have the Strength card clarified by the Four of Swords reversed. I feel like there are people that are close to you that really get to know your personality and would just like laugh at the description of like this scary Doberman type, because they know you. They know that you're actually a softie. They know that you're, but when I say softie, I don't mean like a pushover. I think that you're somebody who has a lot of interest, that like when you talk about them, you light up, and you can be really funny and like just a great person to hang out with. But you're also a very strong individual. I think you're definitely a protector. Maybe that's why I was getting that like scary dog energy, is like you're the kind of person that you like protect your friends. You kind of, when you're out in public or when you're around people that you feel like you can't let your guard down, you're constantly like scanning and like jaw clenched, looking around and intimidating anybody that might come forward and try to mess with you guys. And it definitely keeps away people, but at the same time, it's like I feel like your close friends are like, oh, there goes our scary dog privilege. But then they really know that you're just like this really sweet person deep down, but you don't open up to a ton of people. So I want to give you an example of like when me and my friends were in high school. And I'm just going based off like what people have told us, because like I didn't know that this was a thing until like I heard about it and I was like, what the heck? But me and my friends have been best friends since like middle school. It was just this like group of 3 of us. We've all known each other since like elementary, and we were super, super tight, constantly like attached at the hip, always hanging out. And we didn't really ever like add anybody else onto the friend group, not because we didn't like any other people, but just we were just that tight with each other. And like we did hang out with other people, we did allow other people into the group. But those people would later tell us like, oh yeah, it was so intimidating trying to hang out with you guys because you guys are all just like so pretty and intimidating. And we're like, what are you talking about? Like we're literally just sitting there trying to hang out. And of course wanting people to come forward. But it ended up being that we had this reputation as this intimidating, exclusive like trio, which looking back on I think is so funny because we were always just fucking off, like just like hanging out. But it is that kind of energy that I get from you. Is like from the outside, everybody's so intimidating and like there's this mystery and like this like exclusive person that only hangs around these specific people. And it's like on the inside, you're like, what are you even talking about? Like, I'm just introverted. I'm just a wallflower. Like, it's not that deep. But I think I'm kind of off on a tangent here, but I think you're just one of the most beautiful things about you is like your inner strength and the protectiveness that you have for other people, and also how you're not willing to give up on things that you care about. You're not willing to rest when it comes to doing things that you love and accomplishing what you set out to do. I think you're an extremely driven person, but only a select few really know that. Because like I said, I think you're very close to specific people or like a best friend or a best friend group. But outside of that, everybody's like, I've never seen the other side of them because they're always stuck on that damn wall, you know? And then finally, we have the abundance card clarified by the Knight of Wands reversed. You are somebody that has this, when I say abundance, I don't mean like money, but I mean like abundance of just energy, attractive energy of good vibes, of, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's this kind of energy that you have within that you don't need to go out and chase. It's like you just, like if you look at the Empress card and what the Empress card means, it's this woman that like lays back and she doesn't chase, she attracts. And since she's attracting all this abundance around her, everything is fruitful and growing and beautiful. And with you, it's not that you're like attracting material abundance. It's more as trying to find like an analogy of how to describe this like how cool you are. Like this cool, attractive energy just emanates from within. Like you don't need to try hard to be attractive. You don't need to try hard to be cool. You just are. That's what I'm trying to get at here. Is like one of the things that's most beautiful or like attractive about you is just your vibe just kind of emanates from within. Like you're not a poser. You're not somebody that needs to like act like everybody else to be cool. You're not somebody that needs to go out and figure out like what's the coolest new trend? How is everybody wearing their clothes? Like you just do you. And since you do like yourself and you're not trying to pretend to be somebody you're not, it's just this natural, just awesome, like cool. I have to sneeze. Oh, sorry, that came out of nowhere. I was in the middle of talking, but yeah, you just kind of have like this really cool vibe that just, it comes from within. You don't need to be somebody that you're not. And because of that, everybody's looking at you and they're like, God, how do I get to be that cool? And they just don't understand because they're constantly trying to emulate others. But for you, you're just being yourself. You just have your own style, your own aesthetic, your own vibe that people are just like addicted to. And I feel like you're hearing all this and you're like, what are you even talking about? There's literally nobody around me that is addicted to me. But I think there really is. Like, I think they just, they don't show it because it's like, you're like looking to your left and like there's people on your right that are like, oh my gosh, look at them. But then as soon as you turn your head, it's like scary Doberman, scary dog energy. And then they all like look away and they're like, oh. And so you never see it, but there are a lot of people around you that are just like so entranced and like drawn to you. Like a starfish. Everybody loves to stare at a starfish, but the starfish is constantly facing away, constantly protecting itself. But everybody's admiring like the different colors, the different patterns. I love starfish. I think they're the cutest. I think you're the cutest. So, pile 2, that's everything that I have for you. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I felt like this kind of like weird like feeling like I'm trying to explain it to somebody that's cool, and I'm like, you know what I'm trying to say, like, I don't know. I don't know, like I'm like maybe I'm picking up your energy. It's like making me shy. I feel like there's a lot of people around you that get very shy when they try to talk to you. But like I said, that's everything that I have for you. I really hope that you enjoyed this reading. I hope you felt a little flattered and a little bit more confident. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye. All right, pile 3, last but certainly not least. If you chose the Desert Jasper, then this is the reading for you. Now, this first card that we have here, the Owl card, this card is the card that symbolizes your outer physical beauty. You know, what is most beautiful about your physical appearance when people look at you. And when I look at the Owl card, I had a lot of different things coming to mind, but specifically about your face, I think that you have a very attractive face. Like maybe your just face is very symmetrical. Maybe your facial features have like the perfect like balance of like I don't know what it's called, but it's like how your face, if you divide it into 3, how each part, like from your chin to from the underside of your nose from your nose to your eyebrow, and then from your eyebrow to the top of your forehead. When those are all balanced, it's like another level of symmetry that's very attractive. This is gonna sound so lame, but like on TikTok, you know how there's like that thing called like mogging or like mewing? It's also like looks maxing. It's like this really just deranged, stupid part of the internet where it's like people maximizing their attractiveness by like looking at things like canthal tilt, which if you've never heard of is like the inner part of your eye and the outer part of your eye. If you are to draw a line, you either have like an angle that's like a positive canthal tilt, negative, or like neutral, and positive is, I guess, supposed to be the most attractive, but there's a lot of people with very attractive negative canthal tilt. Like if you look at Jacob Elordi, he has a negative canthal tilt. You see how his eyes are kind of like tilted almost downwards. Anyways, the reason I'm bringing all this up is because I'm looking at this owl and I'm like, damn, wow. Like I'm imagining like this like beautiful model with like this face, just these unique, beautiful facial features that fit so well, almost like intimidating. Like when this owl looks at you, it's like, oh my God, you're looking at me, like in like an intimidating kind of like why, when I'm looking at this owl, I'm getting like supermodel energy. Like just, I feel like also, this is a general reading, so it's different for everybody. And I don't know where you're watching from, but like, I think for the place that you live in, you look very different than a lot of the people around you. Like, me, for example, I live in America. There's a lot of diversity where I live, but I'm like half Filipino, half Irish. That's a weird ass combination. Like I have very unique facial features, and I've been told that like, oh, those facial features are so unique, so beautiful the way that they're put together, which thank you, stranger who said that. But I feel like for you, it's kind of the same way. Like wherever you live, you have very unique facial features compared to those around you, and it's not just the uniqueness that makes them attractive, but just like the kinds of facial features. Like I'm really getting like, why is this owl wearing makeup right now? Like why does this owl look so beautiful? Also, just the way the face is framed in this like heart shape. I feel like just the shape of your face, there's a like very angular look that I think you have. Maybe maybe a very beautiful nose, and maybe you looked at your nose and like, that's not beautiful. But don't just go off of like whatever the beauty standard is. Like I think that you have very beautiful features. There's a lot of people that say like Middle Eastern noses or like the Roman noses are not beautiful, but growing up as a child, before I knew about like the Western beauty standard, I always thought that those were the most beautiful noses and the most beautiful facial features out of all of them. Like just unbiased, that's what I grew up believing, because I didn't have these people around me telling me, oh no, you're supposed to actually like button noses. Like when I would create characters in like video games and create characters online, I would like go and gravitate towards like Roman noses or like Middle Eastern noses. Like I just thought that they were the best looking feature. And so don't get it in your head that just because the Western world says like the Western beauty standard is the most attractive beauty standard, or like, you know, Korean beauty standard is the highest beauty standard, like take that out of your head. Maybe that's the opinion of like a vast majority of people or what people have been told to believe, but it doesn't mean that everybody thinks that way. And I personally believe that everybody's features that they're born with fit perfectly on their face the way that they are. And like, you wouldn't be you without those features. So anyways, back to what I was saying. Owl, I think, is very, very beautiful. I think also when I look at this owl, I'm imagining somebody who has a very classy, classic style, somebody that dresses to their proportions. If you don't, I think that might be some encouragement to look into that. Like me personally, I used to always wear super baggy clothes because that's just kind of like what the style was. But it didn't ever really fit me. It didn't ever feel like something that I felt like I looked good in. I also I'm somebody that has like a longer torso rather than like a shorter torso. And so I look better wearing more form-fitting, shorter shirts. And it wasn't until like I tried wearing things that like dressed to my actual proportions that I started feeling more confident in my skin, rather than just wearing like baggy clothes or what other people tell you to wear. If you look at like models and celebrities, you'll notice like if you try to put on the same clothes that they're wearing, it might not look as good. But if you change it so that those clothes fit your proportions, you'll realize, oh, it's actually just the way that like it hangs off your body that makes the world of difference. I highly encourage you to look that up. And I don't know why this guy is coming to mind so often. I don't really know anything about him. But I talked about him in pile 1 because it was like relevant to what we were talking about. Actually, no, I think I was talking to you about it. Jacob Elordi? Have I been rambling that long that I thought that was pile 1? Or pile 2? I'm pretty sure that was in your pile. Anyways, Jacob Elordi is also somebody that knows a lot about how to dress to his proportions. If you look at his outfits, he's known as like a style icon, but there's nothing special about the way that he dresses. It's just the way that it fits him. I can't believe I thought that was a different pile. Oh my god. And let me move on from this one card. Anyways, like I was saying, I think that you're somebody who dresses very classy, somebody that you would look really good dressing to your proportions and dressing to things that really, like, truly fit your body. And also just more classic things that show off your natural beauty, not like over the top kind of, wearing things that complement you rather than like drowning you. You know what I'm saying? So moving on to the other aspects of you that are beautiful. You have the determination card clarified by judgment. I kind of got the vibe that maybe you're somebody that does sports or does something in front of an audience, like team captain kind of energy. You don't necessarily have to, but the reason that I got that vibe is because you have this determination card, like you are determined to succeed, very competitive, always like your willpower is devoted to accomplishing your goals, accomplishing what you put your mind to. Like I said, team captain energy, working extremely hard, putting in the hours. And not only does it show in the way that you perform, but the way that you look. Like when you look at a pro athlete, their determination and their discipline also shows in like their build, like their muscles. You recognize like they had to be extremely driven and disciplined to get that body. And like not just that, but also with the judgment card, for some reason, like you see this person who's like blowing this horn or whatever, and then you see all these people below like cheering and like celebrating. I just really got this vibe that you're somebody that maybe you do sports, or if it's not specifically sports, it's like whatever thing that you are driven towards, people are in awe of how you are able to go after it. Like maybe you want to be a lawyer and you just work extremely hard, study extremely hard, and people really take notice of it, of like when you get a good grade or when you just have this kind of air of confidence going into a test, or even if you're nervous, just like the aftermath, people are like, gosh, they are on another level of like accomplishment. Like that is something that's extremely attractive about you, is how driven you are, how not competitive just to be competitive, but competitive because of how driven you are and how you're willing to go after anything with 100% of your power. And then you have the sadness card clarified by the Two of Pentacles reversed. And this I find very interesting. And this is going to be pretty niche. And not a lot of people are going to resonate with this, I feel like, because it's just so specific. But what I was getting from these two cards is maybe you had like a tragedy happen that was just well known. Like maybe it was in the news. Maybe your whole town knew about it. Maybe everybody around you knows about it, or like all your close friend group knows like this thing happened to you, or maybe you had like a rough upbringing and it's just kind of like well known, or to people that matter around you, people that see you frequently, they know about this, where somebody else would probably be stopped by that, would use it as an excuse to victimize himself or let it hold himself back. you don't even dwell on it. You push past it, and you are so, like I said, your determination in spite of this thing is extremely attractive and beautiful to other people. And I don't know why I get the vibe that there's just like imagine somebody who survived like a tragic, like a tornado or something, and like a lot of the town was devastated. Maybe they lost family members. A lot of people would say like my life stopped there. I never moved forward after that. A lot of people would expect you to be like, okay, we understand, like never get up again. You're allowed. This thing was so terrible, like it would be expected if you had this victim mindset for the rest of your life. But not only did you not victimize yourself, you didn't let it hold you back from anything. You've still become so accomplished. Like maybe you came from extreme poverty, or maybe you came from a household of like abuse, or like I said, maybe there was just a major tragedy that is just like everybody kind of knows about it, and they would have expected anybody else in that situation to give up and like lie down and just cry about it forever. But instead, you've proven to be extremely determined, extremely successful, and have extremely strong willpower. That it's just, you are a very impressive person. Like if I had to give a key word to each pile, I think I gave pile 2 like mysterious, and like pile 1 like shining. For you, it's impressive. Like you are an impressive person that people are just like kind of like in this quiet awe of. So pile 3, that is everything that I have for you. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it made sense. I've been kind of all over the place, but I really hope this brought you some confidence. I hope this made you look at yourself in a different light and be proud of yourself. I think that if I was you, I'd be extremely proud of myself. So that's everything that I have for you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.